Morning, guys. Welcome to Living with the Grain. I'm Jared, and I get to do another morning video. And it's actually seems brighter in this video than it really is. It is not that bright outside. It really isn't. But the sun is coming up. It is starting to get bright. Of course, I'm sitting by a fire that I've had going already. I love it. I love that I woke up about 6 o'clock this morning, and for me that's sleeping in, and get my day going. You know, I'm already out here having my coffee. I've got some woodworking projects I'm going to get started in a little bit, and that's actually what I'm doing, is working on a wood project. It's in the fire. It was a massive failure. So, that was not a good day. So what's in the pit is it's a shelf I was working on for about 6 months as I had time. It wasn't the high priority. It was just kind of a decorative thing where I was taking the edges and routering them, and finally had it all put together for the first time 2 days ago. Now I knew there was still some more edging and routering I wanted to do, but I hadn't touched this thing in several months over the summer. And what I think happened is the wood had dried out more than I had anticipated or even really thinking about it drying out. And I was working up to a joint, and one of the side pieces, I don't know if it was just the vibration of the router, I'm not quite sure what it was, but it split. It split in half. And while I was routering, that split caused me to kind of shift a little bit in my motion, and I gouged the heck out of the shelf, or one of the shelves. And I was like, okay, this is fixable. This is okay. Even though like disappointment was setting in, I was like, all right, let me work with what I have. And I started kind of trying to be a little bit more creative with the router, and that was the wrong thing to do. It got worse. It got worse and worse. And there was a point, probably about a minute in, where I was just like, you know what? I've got 2 pieces of split wood at this point. This thing's just not going to be salvageable. I waited too long, I guess, for the wood to, like I said, it dried out. It did, whatever happened. And for that amount of time to be at the finish line and have to start over it was more than frustrating. I was a little upset. I'm not gonna lie. But after a few minutes, I calmed down. I stepped back, and I thought, you know what? I'm not the first one that has felt this or experienced this kind of failure of having to start over from the beginning after months of work. And I think it was a very humbling and great learning point, for myself, because it's one of those things of like, okay, well, I'm going to do things differently. I've got a better mind about how to process or proceed with this idea that's still in my head. This just wasn't supposed to be it. And I'm definitely not the first one to feel that. But how we handle it, or how I handle it, is a lot different than how I used to handle it. I used to just let it ruin my day, man. And it would stick with me for like days. And I think back, I'm like, man, I was just hanging on to stuff, and I just didn't let it go. So for me, having the fire in the mornings, letting it go, probably some of it could have been salvaged to some other project, but I just didn't have any other firewood. But, you know, things become anew. New morning, fresh coffee, new fire, new project. Actually do have one. It's another piece of cedar. As much as I seem to be frustrated with it, I keep bringing it up. But I really like the shape of that. I think it's really cool. Still need to clean it up a bit. Those lines that you see are part of the saw mark, so I'm gonna have to sand all that out, but I'm going to attempt to take a drill bit that I have that is wide enough for, what do they call them? Those little candles, my goodness, tea light candles. So I'm going to attempt make a couple of holes on this. What makes me really nervous is there is a crack. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get close enough without really getting up and being clumsy here. But there is a crack that does run alongside this thing. So the potential of this breaking while I'm working on it is very high. You know, if we don't try, we don't know. So I'm going to try. And then, you know, get it cleaned up, make it nice and pretty, see if it's something my wife would want to have, like on the side of the bathtub or something. But I do want to make some of these for just a couple of projects and give them to some family members for gifts. But anyway, one of many projects that I already have in the works. Question I have: how do you handle failure, disappointment? It's okay if it's upsetting. It definitely is okay. But don't let it ruin your day. It's just a moment. Let it go. Start fresh. Sometimes starting fresh in several ways is the best avenue. But think about when you do get upset about something that fails, how do you handle it? All right, guys, I'm gonna get off my butt. I gotta go punch that button that says stop. I'm gonna have to learn to edit because this is gonna be humorous. All right, guys, good morning. Conquer the day. Peace out.